Okay, so I was just going through some stuff. Like last year, I I I I had left town, and then I was driving. My car broke down, and so uh, I got out of it, and I just started walking, right? And then like went on these major adventures. This was in Washington State. I wound up way over in Baltimore, blah 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 blah. But like everything that was in my car was there. So like my survival gear, copies of the executive outline, my laptop, my Xbox One, my iPads, you know, and my flash drive, and all this stuff was all my book that I had been working on. It was all in there, and like my kids stuff too. Like Star Wars X-wing battles, and the battle map. I still have the battle map, but I lost all the ships that I had and everything else. You know, and so because I had lost all my stuff. It's like and my accounts, and my passwords to everything that I had, all of this, you know. I had, after I had left the car behind, I my my I didn't have any copy of my book. I hadn't copyrighted it yet, but I had remembered one email password, and then I accessed that when I got to Spokane, and luckily I still had, like, in my sent mail, like, I still had an older copy of the executive outline that I then, and that was the one that I sent to Donald Trump. Now, and then I updated it, with all of the new concepts and stuff that I could think of. I gave it brevity, and then I reduced the page numbers by condensing it. So then I went to copyright.gov, and that was $35. I copyrighted it, and then I sent that off to Savage Road in Maryland, and so, but then I deleted that email, and now I don't have. Okay, so when I got to Maryland, right, I had a briefcase, and I was walking around with a briefcase, and I had a flash drive. I had all these hard copies of the executive outline. I was walking around with my briefcase. Dude, set it down, but I had just only been in Baltimore for like a day, right? And I set it down, and then I couldn't ever find the place where I set it down again. It was like I turned the corner, and then I was walking around all night trying to find the freaking thing, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my phone. My phone was in my briefcase, like my cologne, all this stuff, right? And so suddenly, like, the NSA had a copy of the copyrighted version of the executive outline, and the president had it, and then copyright.gov had the actual copyrighted version. But I was unable to produce the book. I was unable to provide it to others to read after that. And I thought I would never see it again until I received the copyright certificate of ownership, and then maybe possibly copyright.gov would have saved the deposit file, and I could have received it back that way. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, I had no way to publish the thing. But I got back here, and I found out that, like, my car had been towed away or whatever, and then, like, I had been put down as a missing person and stuff like this, and that stuff was all resolved. But my car had been towed away, put in an impound, and then my parents had gone and taken whatever was out of it. Now, all my electronics were gone. All the Star Wars ships were gone. Like, my entire survival pack was totally stripped bare. I mean, I still got, like, a magnifying glass, a compass, a pocket saw, a knife, and a spoon, and an emergency poncho. But I lost my tent. I lost, like, my fire gloves. I lost, like, all my fire sticks, like everything else. But I was going through, like, the couple of garbage bags of stuff that was left, because I was moving around the country, like, before that happened, because I was raising two kids by myself, and so, like, we like had gone from here to California, and like we were living homeless while I was trying to find work, blah 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 blah, living out of my car, you know. And so like my car was full of all this stuff. Anyway, I was going through it, and I found the written rough draft of the executive outline. So, introduction, fuel and propulsion, orbital compression system, remote staging and delivery vehicle, compression barrels, launch, deploy, marketing. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is the moon. Introduction, concrete, holes, internal structure, modular capability, and stacking. Stage 3, Ganymede and Europa. Introduction, water. Second, mission. 3, delivery. Stage 4, Keycom. Introduction and faster than light communications and usage. Stage 5, power. Introduction, electrical power, design, and crew. That's the zero gravity turbine. Looks like on this version I had a stage 6, the heavyweight ships, with introduction, crew, gravity, design, and loadouts. And then stage 7 was a list of the missions, and then etc. was the economic implications, the socio-political implications, the necessity of neutrality of the fuel and the other resources, interdependent soliloquies, because everything works together even though it's like interdependent. It's interdependent, but it's a single thing. And then you know, another way to put it, Ouroboros crown. And in the actual completed version, I included letters that I had mailed to, or that I had emailed or messaged to people like such as Warren Buffett and the Rothschild family, and you know, nations of kings and other sort of high up, upper echelon corporate people, you know, billionaires. So basically, I have the original handwritten version, and this was the one that I did when I was in Santa Cruz, California, because I could see all my little arrow notations there for how I was going to insert, like such as insert graphic design. So this was, I wrote this all out, and it's got the same words that my book has, but it's basically the plan that I had for writing it out on the computer and then printing it out. So I'm totally excited because now I actually have the entire thing except for my interdependent soliloquies and my Ouroboros crown graphics, you know, which were actually not graphics, but were the copied and pasted letters. So, I mean, and why do I care about that? I don't really care about that, you know. So, I mean, this is like kind of personal stuff. I'm just excited about finding my stuff here. And also, yeah. So finally, it's been a year, and I thought that I completely lost all hard copies and all versions of the executive outline, but now I have a handwritten hard copy. Man, thank God.